All right, guys, so today we are going to learn about something called graphs, central tendency graphs. So basically, they are graphs that you use in different data sets to organize the data and kind of see where your measures of central tendency are. So remember, that's like mean, median, mode, and range. So those just kind of go together. So the first one we're going to learn about is called a stem and leaf plot. And that uses the digits of the data to organize the data set. So basically, each number is broken down to a stem and a leaf. And then most of the time, that is like it's broken into the tens digit and the ones digit. And then the stems will go on the left side and the leaves will go on the right. And like I said, the stems represent the tens place and the leaves represent the ones place. So to do this, we start by organizing the data from least to greatest. And then we identify the stems and the leaves. And then we order the stems from least to greatest and then the leaves from least to greatest. And then you have to write a key at the end telling the viewer, just like it does right here, like where your tens are and where your ones are. And then that will kind of show them what they're doing. So I know that probably doesn't make a lot of sense, so I'm going to make one for you guys. So here it says to draw a stem and leaf plot for each data set. I'm going to zoom in here so I have a little more space. And I'm not really going to worry about the names. We're just going to worry about the ages we are given right here. And as you can see, this is already organized from least to greatest, so that makes it really easy for us. And remember, our stems go over here on the left. And our leaves will go over here on the right. So looking at this, I see that I have 5 as a stem, 6 as a stem, 7, and 8. So 5, 6, 7, and 8. So for 5, we're just going to focus on the 50s right here. And I have 3, 9, 9, 9. So now those are done. Next, we're going to focus on the 60s right here. And I have 4 and 4. For the 70s right here, I have 1 and 7. And then for the 80s, right there, I have 5. And then down here for my key, I'm going to write tens. Nope, I made a. And ones. Okay, so that's all you have to do is just separate the tens from the ones and go from there. So we're going to do another one together. So it gives us men's height in inches. So we start with our stems over here and our leaves over here. And once again, they are nice enough to put this in order for us. So let's look at our tens places. Let's see, I've got a 50 right here, so I need to put a 5. I have a 60, so I'll need to put a 6, and then a 60, 60, 60. Then I have something in the 70s, so I'll need a 7. And then I have something in the 80s, so I'll need an 8. And now I've got my stems done. So now let's look at what we've got in the 50s. Just 1, and it's a 9. Over here we've got 60s, and we've got 4 numbers in the 60s. So I have 65, 65, 66, 66. In the 70s, I have 71 and 76. And then in the 80s, I have 83. And so that is how you make a stem and leaf plot. The next kind of graph we are going to talk about is called a box and whisker plot. So these have a lot of different parts to make it complete. It might seem a little confusing, but it will make a lot of sense once we do one. So the first thing you start by doing is putting all the numbers in order from least to greatest, because the first thing you have to do is find a median. So you go ahead and do that. And then what you're going to do pretty much for the lower quartile right here is you'll take the median of the first half of your numbers, and then for the upper quartile, you're going to take the median of the second half of your numbers. And that gives you this little box, which will tell you your interquartile range. And then you put your smallest number here and your biggest number. So I'm going to show you what that means. So here, I have this data set, and then they've been nice enough to rearrange this for us. So what we're going to do first is find our median. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers. So my median is going to be right here in the middle at 4.5. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on my graph down here. And that is my median. So now what I'm going to do is come back to my data set and find my first quartile, which is going to be right here in the middle of that first half. And that is going to be 3. And I will do that in blue so you can see it. Then I am going to find my upper quartile, which will be right here in between 6 and 8, which will be 7. And that is in my first half right here. Let me find a color to do that. Let's do not red, let's do green. So that comes from this half right here. And so that will be right here on 7. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw my box, and we'll do that in purple. So that is the box, and then I just make a line out here to the biggest number, which is 9, and then a line to the smallest number, which is 2. And so here we have a full box and whisker plot. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and find just the values for a box and whisker plot down here, or we'll actually make the whole thing. I think we'll have room. So I'm going to go ahead and make a number line here, and I'm going to count by 5s on this one. So I'm going to start at 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, and we will end it at 80. So the first thing I have to do is order these from least to greatest. So that's going to be 56, 60, 68, 72, 76, 80, 84, and then 88. So now let's find the median. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers. So the middle will be right here. I've got 4 numbers on each side, and we will do 72 right in between, right in the middle of those will be 74. So that will be right here. And I am actually going to extend this line because I just realized we need to go probably to 90. So we'll do 85 and 90. So I've got my median, I've got it marked on my number line down here. Now we will go over here and do the same thing. to find our, so we found our second quartile at 74. The first one will be right in between 60 and 68, so it will be 64. So we'll go right here. And then we'll find the third quartile, which is right here between 80 and 84. And that will be 82. So we will mark that right about here. And then our lower extreme is our lowest number, so that is going to be 56. So we'll mark that right here. And the upper extreme is the biggest number, which is 88. So we'll mark that up here as well. And then all we have to do now is draw the box. And now we have our box and whisker plot. Okay. And do another one. And I'm going to erase this so I have room. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to label this number line. And we will just go by ones. So we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we will actually go to 12. So what I'm going to do now is order these from least to greatest. So it will be 2.3, 4.3, 7, 9, 10, 11.2, 11.5, 14, and then 14 again. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers. So I'm going to have 4 on either side of my median. So let's go ahead and start. Our lower extreme is 2.3. So I'm going to mark that down here. And I'm just going to do it in a thicker black line. So 2.3 would be about right here. Our upper extreme is 14. And if you look, I actually did not extend my line far enough, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. And I will mark that on the graph as well, right here. There's my upper extreme, there's my lower extreme. Now, I'm going to find my second quartile, or my median. So that is going to be right here at 10. So that is going to be 10, and I'm going to mark that right here. My first quartile is going to be right here in between 4.3 and 7. So that is going to be 5.15. So I'm going to mark that. That should be around right here. My third quartile is going to be whatever is right in between 11.5 and 14. So that is going to be, let's see, 11.75. So we'll mark that right here. And now we're just going to draw the box we need. And now we have our box and whisker plot using all of that information from the top. The next two types of graphs we're going to talk about are really similar. So they are a histogram and a bar graph. And the two differences are that histograms cover intervals, while bar graphs cover single things. So what that means basically is a histogram and a bar graph are the same thing, but where you would say, like on a bar graph, like week 1 this happened or week 2 this happened, a histogram would be more like days 3 through 10, and then it would be over that entire interval. And the bars on a histogram touch and the bars on a bar graph do not. So we are going to show the difference here. So what we're going to do now is make a histogram. So I think we all know how to make a bar graph. And so I'm just going to show you how making a histogram is a little different. So the first thing is we're going to start by going with our intervals here. So we have 70 through 74. So let me make this like one size bigger, I think. So here, 70 through 74, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means that group happened 6 times. Now we'll do 65 through 69. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, I'm not really going to worry about the tallies since I'm doing it a different way, but our frequency there is 4. Now 60 through 64, I'll do, let me see, I do this. Show that we did that in pink, and then we'll do this in purple. 60 through 64 is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 55 through 59, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 50 through 54 be 1, 45 through 49 would be 1, 2. So now we're going to make a histogram. So I'm going to come over here. The smallest number I have is 1 and the biggest number I have is 7. So I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now what I'm going to do is write my intervals. So 45 through 49, 50 through 54, 55 through 59, 60. Oh, I'm running out of room. Okay, hold on. Let me zoom in so I have some more space here. Okay, so 45 through 49. 50 through 54. 55 through 59. 60 through 64. 65 through 69, and then 70 to 74. So 45 through 49, I had, let's see, that's blue. Make this a little bigger. And I had 2, so I'm going to go ahead and draw that out to here. I don't know why I did that. And histograms are always shaded in, just like bar graphs are. And then let's see. 50 through 54 is red, and that had 1, so we're going to go to 1. '55 through 59 had 7. Let's see, that was orange, so we're going to go all the way up to 7. '60 through 64 had 5. So we'll go over to 5. '65 through 69 had 4. And you want to try to keep your rectangles equal sized. They don't have to be perfect, but just close. And then 70 through 74 had 6. So we're going to come over here and draw up to 6. And that is how you create a histogram. So it is the exact same thing as a bar graph. The only difference is that the bars touch. So just remember, if you are told to make a histogram and your bars do not touch, then you have made a bar graph, and that is not the right thing. So just make sure that you know that that is